Have you ever noticed that one person who stays completely chill while everyone else is losing their mind? Someone throws shade at them, disrespects them, even insults them, and they don't even blink. No snapping back, no ranting, no visible frustration. They're not cold, they're not checked out, they're just unbothered. So what's actually going on inside their head? Most people assume they're bottling everything up, like it's all going to explode one day. But psychology says that's not what's happening at all. These people aren't ignoring their emotions, they're running them through a totally different mental filter. Think about the last time someone cut you off in traffic. Your first reaction was probably instant irritation, maybe even rage. Now imagine someone in that same moment pausing and thinking, "Why'd that happen? Are they late? Did they even see me?" That's not making excuses, that's cognitive reframing, and for emotionally steady people, it happens almost instantly. Studies in personality psychology show that people who rarely blow up score high in something called emotional granularity. Basically, they're really good at telling emotions apart. Most people just feel bad. They feel annoyed, stressed, frustrated, tired, all mashed together. These folks can pinpoint exactly what they're feeling, and that matters a lot. The more clearly you can name an emotion, the less power it has over you. Vague feelings control you, clear ones don't. But there's an even bigger shift happening under the surface. These people don't believe they can control other people. Most of us do, even if we don't realize it. So when someone's rude, we get mad because they didn't act how we expected them to. Calm people have dropped that expectation completely. They've accepted a simple but brutal truth. You can't control other people. You can only control your response. That's not giving up, that's leveling up. Once you realize that getting mad at things outside your control is just wasted energy, the anger loses its grip. Not because you're suppressing it, but because there's nothing feeding it anymore. Neuroscience backs this up. Brain scans show that emotionally regulated people have stronger connections between the prefrontal cortex, the logical part of the brain, and the amygdala, where emotional reactions start. For most people, emotion fires first and logic shows up late. For these people, both kick in at the same time. The situation gets interpreted before anger fully takes over. Here's the wild part. They actually feel emotions more deeply, not less. They just don't confuse feeling something with having to react to it. Emotions are information, not instructions. Anger might tell them a boundary was crossed. That doesn't automatically mean they need to blow up. Sometimes the smartest move is adjusting expectations. Sometimes it's walking away. Sometimes it's doing nothing on purpose. Time perspective plays a huge role too. People who don't get easily bothered think long-term without even trying. They instinctively ask, is this going to matter next week, next year, 5 years from now? Most stuff doesn't survive that test. And once your brain gets used to thinking that way, it starts doing it automatically. Now, let's clear something up. Calm doesn't mean weak. In fact, the people with the strongest boundaries are usually the least reactive. They don't need anger to enforce limits. They say what's okay, what's not, and they follow through. No drama, no yelling, just consistency. This lines up perfectly with Stoic philosophy and the idea of the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to you, your thoughts, actions, and responses. Everything else isn't. Trying to control what isn't yours to control creates stress. Focusing only on what you actually control creates peace. Modern psychology has basically confirmed what the Stoics figured out centuries ago. But what about real stuff? Betrayal, injustice, actual harm. People who don't get easily bothered aren't numb to that. They just respond differently. Instead of reacting with explosive anger, they move with intention. Anger burns hot and fast. Purpose-driven action lasts way longer. They're not less passionate, they're just more strategic. There's also a social side to this. Calm energy shuts down conflict. When you don't match someone's anger, the situation changes. Most arguments need two people feeding off each other. Remove one, and the fire dies out. That's not manipulation, that's self-control. So, can this be learned? Yeah, but it takes practice. It starts with a pause. Even a 2-second delay between trigger and reaction gives your logical brain time to step in. Another powerful habit is perspective shifting. When someone does something that annoys you, immediately come up with 3 explanations that don't involve bad intentions. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe they misunderstood. Maybe they're dealing with something you can't see. That doesn't excuse bad behavior, it just stops you from taking everything personally. And let's be real, most anger comes from personalization. Your body matters too. Emotionally regulated people notice anger building physically before it explodes. Tight chest, clenched jaw, shallow breathing, those are early warning signs. Catch them early and regulation is easy. Miss them and control gets a lot harder. At the core of all this is one thing. These people have made peace with imperfection in themselves and everyone else. They don't expect the world to run perfectly, so they're not constantly disappointed when it doesn't. That's not lowering standards, that's being realistic. And inside that realism is freedom, the freedom to respond instead of react, to choose calm over chaos, to protect your inner peace like it actually matters. That's not weakness, that's mastery. And it changes how you move through life, not because the world changes, but because you do. Drop a comment and share your experience. And if this hit home, like and subscribe for more psychology that actually makes sense. I'll catch you in the next one.